primum non nocere. First, do no harm. In the world of healthcare and humanitarian aid, this Latin phrase highlights the importance of avoiding any unnecessary harm, be that physical or emotional, to patients. It's a saying commonly misassociated with the Hippocratic Oath, an ancient Greek text that emphasizes the ethics one must uphold should they go into the medical field. In layman's terms, if you ever plan on becoming a doctor, nurse, surgeon, whatever, you better be ready to put your patient's well-being above all else, even if they don't deserve said well-being on account of all their sins. So, you guys may not know this, but Fortnite has a lot of characters. Like, a lot. Over 2,200 at this point in time. So, naturally, when it comes to things like character development and lore in general, some skins get more time in the spotlight than others, which obviously kind of sucks. With that in mind, today's video is going to be the start of a new series I'm calling Tales from the Loop. Tales from the Loop will serve as a way for me to bring to light some of Fortnite's lesser-known legends. Not every character gets chapter-spanning lore like Hope or Sloan, but that doesn't mean their journeys aren't worth checking out. There's a lot of cool little side stories we take for granted, so I hope this series inspires you guys to maybe go digging for some other interesting lore bits. Speaking of, today's somewhat underrated story begins following the defeat of Zeus at the hands of the Underground during the tail end of Myths and Mortals. In the last-ditch attempt to punish the humans that opened Pandora's box, Zeus summoned the last of his power to attack the artifact. Instead of destroying it, his actions would gain the attention of a band of nitro-fueled misfits known as the Wasteland Warriors. Led by the megalomaniac Megalodon, this steel-coated shark lover and his ruffians flipped the island of Helios on its head, plundering and ravaging the lands in their quest for absolute power. And it's here in this chaos at a lone rescue station where we meet the protagonists of this tale. Now, unlike some of the characters we've examined in the past, Triage Trooper has very little going on in the backstory department. It's safe to assume that the character is one of the many Jones snapshots created by the Zero Point back in its prime, as they've existed since Chapter 1, Season 5, alongside their female counterpart, Field Surgeon. It's important to note, however, that the description for this skin reads, "No one is beyond saving," a statement that echoes the do no harm principle I mentioned earlier. When interacting with Triage Trooper for the first time during Chapter 5, Season 3, they'll say to you,
"Ready to help, so long as I'm safe."
Bit of a strange way to say hello, but then again, Mad Max was playing out on the island at this time, so safety was definitely a concern for anyone. However, if one were to continue conversing with the medical professional, it becomes increasingly clear that something much more dire and personal is at stake here.
"You know anywhere I can lie low? Be on the lookout, I think someone's on my trail." "She's coming, I know she is." "Hey, I help people, I can't help it."
Furthermore, if we were to take a glance at the skin's biography in the character collection book from around this time, it tells us not everyone values a support specialist like Triage Trooper. Some might even consider him worthy of a bounty, but who would hunt down Triage Trooper? Okay, so Triage Trooper's on the run from a bounty hunter. We've established that, but now we need to figure out who's after him, and more importantly, why's after him. The answer to our first question comes in the form of the character Saskia, an NPC that was added to Helios' cemetery towards the end of Rex's lifespan. If you were to ask her what she was up to, more specifically who she was looking for, she'd tell you,
"I always have multiple targets. It's how I operate. My most important target though, Triage Trooper. Field surgeons paid me a fortune to find him. You know where he might be hiding?"
Wait a minute, Field Surgeon? That skin I offhandedly mentioned earlier? She's the one that put the bounty on Triage Trooper's head? Why? She's a fellow physician, is she not? What the hell did Triage Trooper do to justify such a betrayal? Well, we would have to wait a couple of weeks for the arrival of Absolute Doom before Triage Trooper would reveal all. During this time, asking him about Field Surgeon and Saskia would result in him telling the player,
"The Field Surgeon hired Saskia to find me. She's not too happy about something I did. someone I saved, but even after everything he did, he was still hurt. God or not, I help those who need me.
God or not, I help those who need me. I wonder which god was a history of destruction and hate for humanity he saved. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, after his defeat at the hands of mortals, a wounded Zeus apparently crossed paths with Triage Trooper. And true to his skin's description, as well as the Hippocratic Oath, Triage Trooper saved the Warrior King. With that context in mind, it's actually pretty understandable why Field Surgeon put out the hit on Triage Trooper. After all, Zeus literally tried to kill everybody. However, according to the Jones snapshot himself, he knew the risk of his actions, and he didn't care.
Zeus, it's good to see you up and about. Listen, about what I did, I don't agree with you. Your whole vendetta against mortals kinda goes against my personal interests, as a mortal myself. But you were hurt. I couldn't just not save you, no matter what Field Surgeon thinks.
And this is unfortunately where this little side story ends. The fates of Triage Trooper, Field Surgeon, and Zeus are all currently unknown. There is some dialogue that suggests Triage Trooper is still cool with Field Surgeon after all of this, and wow, this guy cannot stop catching W's. But yeah, other than that, this is the end. Triage Trooper saving Zeus is easily one of my most favorite Fortnite lore tidbits. On one hand, it's a bit unnecessary to confirm that Zeus survived, given, Fortnite's track record of one and doneing their antagonists. But on the other hand, the writers put a random Jonesy reskin into a genuinely interesting dilemma and delivered on genuinely decent character development, when they didn't even have to. I very sincerely like that Triage Trooper stuck to his morals and saved the immortal, even with everything he had to lose. Not to sound like one of those think of the children people, but I mean, teaching people to be a little more selfless is pretty awesome. As for whether or not these plot points will be followed up on in the future, I don't know. Like I said, Fortnite has a bad habit of introducing seemingly important lore characters only to immediately discard them. However, to be completely fair, they've been reintegrating a lot of old characters back into the story lately, such as Midas, Core, and even the Visitor. As lame as it sounds, we'll just have to wait and see if Triage Trooper's selflessness made Zeus a less vengeful god. Only time will tell. But I think that's going to do it for the first episode of Tales from the Loop. Did you guys know about Triage Trooper's little escapades, or is this the first you're hearing about it? Feel free to let me know your thoughts down below. If you liked learning about this little side quest, then feel free to subscribe, since I plan on making more content like this again in the future. Also be sure to join the Discord and to use code MAX66 in the item shop. Thanks for watching, and like always, until next time, I'll see you in the next one.